Money.
I mean, I know what cryptocurrency is.
Why don't you tell me what you know about Bitcoin as a jumping off point?
Okay, sure.
Yo, check it. Hey, yo, fuck cash currently. Cuddies pay me in cryptocurrency. For the crystals that I cut with the cutlery. Anonymous, don't have to meet plugs on the corner now. Press enter on the keyboard. I send your order out. 100 miles an hour as we cruise down the Silk Road. Blowing OG out the whip, trying to pull holes. I dream of empires, trying to stack guap like niggas who work on Wall Street. So I'm chasing buyers. Log in, there's plenty of users and consumers getting high and rich off of their computer. Ain't nothing new, this info wait for everybody, yo. Use it to your advantage to take over your body, yo. Magic mushrooms, I had them eating them like Mario. Blockchain heavy, got it clicking with the Molly flow. And niggas gotta know.
It was founded by a Japanese guy.
Or guys, or girls, going by the name Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008. True identity still unknown.
Talking about niggas grilling, man. We out here. Lordy. Yeah. I told my Lordy to take a look inside the dark market. Upload the Bitcoin, we going car shopping. Yeah. You wanted me to check out your music page, you not popping. Knock your ass out like Bernard Hopkins. I got a computer geek white boy to go to John Hopkins. One Bitcoin worth $8,000. Let's get it. Found the vendor off the Tor browser, bought product and flipped it. He just needed a drop addy for where they gonna ship it. It wasn't a scam, he read the forms before he made a decision. Until he ran into his man Skrilla. Yeah. Told him we can do this shit legally, no need for paraphernalia. Just keep your word, I heard here's somebody that'll kill you. I'm on a Coinbase, looking kinda familiar like I've been here before. I see the transaction on the blockchain, you gotta spin with your boy. Shoot me the address to the wallet, and I'ma send it tomorrow. Just make me want to run up in all black on the horse like Zorro. It'll be best to control your temperature, Paco. Put a nigga ass in the footy nails, there won't be nobody there to help you. Coinbase layout super easy, it's no way I can fail you. Use the VPN so the boys have no way to trail you. The move at fast pace, I had to control the hash rate. The value of the Bitcoin decreased, it was a bad day. Misogynist acts use bitches' backs as the ashtray. Skate on bitches like Cascade. I'm out. My lordy got a Bitcoin ATM in his living room. All of the cash I had in my pocket, I wanted to give it to him. With the vision, I'm vicariously living through him. I told my bro it's a way that we can make money even though it's different for him. He got a new job contract, want me to rip it for him. Told me any ideas I had in my mind, go ahead, pitch it to him. My dude's busting the room like, what are you niggas doing?
There are many places to buy Bitcoin. They collect your personal information and jeopardize your privacy. KYC is the illicit activity. BISC is open source. It does not collect user data. You keep your private keys, create or take offers to trade peer-to-peer, and keep your Bitcoin private and secure.
All about Ronin. Before we dive into that, some context for everybody on just on this full series and what it is. All right. Hey everybody. All right, what's up, internet? Again, just in case, we may have had some technical difficulties, so kind of taking it from the top here. We are back at you at the OC Bitcoin Network. I'm Steven. Got Brian along with me hosting this, and this is another installment in our Bitcoin Full Node series. How's it going, Brian?
Good. Pumped for this project. Hardcore, ending with the hardcore project.
Indeed. So today we're going to be talking all about Ronin Dojo, badass open source project related to Samurai Wallet. We have some special guests with us to talk about that. Before we dive into that, though, just a little bit of context for everybody on like how this fits into the whole series. So we've been this is the final installment, and we started off with an episode that you should definitely go back and watch if you have not yet. That's kind of about like what Bitcoin full nodes are generally and why they even matter, why you might want to think about running them. We had Matt Odell, Stefan Libera, some awesome guests with us for that one. And that is on our YouTube. Go there, subscribe to our channel if you like the stuff that we're putting out. And you can see that to understand what full nodes are. And then so far, we've covered other full node implementations, such as Nodl, MineNode, Raspberry Blitz. And today we're going to be wrapping it up with the team from Ronin Dojo. So we're stoked. Before one other quick aside, before we dive into things, just big kudos to Bitcoin Magazine. They're our partner in this. They're helping us restream this and get it out to a large audience. So greatly appreciated. They are putting on an event in LA, Bitcoin 2021 next year at the end of April. If you don't already have your ticket, then you should absolutely get a ticket. I'm going to be there. I think you're going to be there as well, Brian.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good. We're stoked about that. You can use the code OCBitcoin for 25% off of your ticket. And there is also a special S code for any Samurai Wallet users, Whirlpool users, coin joiners. You can use the code RONIN for the next 24 hours from the time that you are hearing this. That will get you 20% off of your mixes. You can mix mobile with just your Android phone and Samurai Wallet, or you can mix using the desktop Whirlpool software as well. So the code's RONIN, and that's valid for 24 hours. Go get some cheap mixes. Now, we can dive into things. So Ronin Dojo, we've got the team here from Ronin. We've got Zelko and Gara, and we also have special guest Samurai Wallet from Samurai Wallet, as those two, the two projects really go hand in hand. So maybe we could just go around and kind of do introductions, and you guys can maybe talk about, what your role in the project, and maybe even how you got into Bitcoin to the extent you're comfy sharing. Because I don't think I've heard that story from all of you guys.
Oh man! All right.
In a nutshell version.
In a nutshell version. Okay. So I'm Zelko. I've been on the show. I do these node series with these guys, and so it's been cool seeing all the other projects kind of come in and getting everyone's different perspectives, different sides, and what they all focus on. It's been pretty cool. So for my short, in a nutshell journey, I started out as one of those like number go up, hodl camp people. I got really into the idea of Lightning when it first came out. And, so I transitioned. When I came back, I went on a hiatus. When I came back after about a year, I had already had Samurai Wallet downloaded because I had a new Android for the first time ever, and I had it installed just because I was downloading a bunch of wallets to test. And I came back and I was playing with it, and then I saw all this coin join stuff that I hadn't heard about before I went away for a year. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, let me try it. So then I was like total plebe. Like I had no computer experience whatsoever. So it took me a long time to get it running. Finally, once I got that running, I was like, oh man, this is cool. And then everyone's like, oh, you have to run it with Dojo. If you're not running Whirlpool with Dojo, like you should just do it. Like, get it running. So I was like, okay. That took me forever. So through many trials and error and a lot of the community support, and I finally figured it out, I said I should start writing guides to help other people like me who have no idea, but they should still get this experience. Like, they should still be your own bank. You should be keeping all your own privacy. And I just got super, super passionate about this project. And it was the community and Samurai that really sealed the deal for me. That was when I was like, I saw how helpful everybody was. I saw how loyal that Samurai community is. And I was like, this is what I got to be a part of. So that was kind of the start of the journey. And then Guerra hit me up, and then it was just kind of off to the races from there. But I'll let him tell his little story first.
Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and jump in from there. I'm Guerra Monita. I jumped on with Zelko probably about August 26th. I think that's the time we had set for whenever this all kind of, and that's kind of when we started writing guides together before this project became what it is. And when all this started, Ronin Dojo was just the name of Zelko's GitHub repo where we kept guides and we would share, what we were learning. But getting into Bitcoin, I started back in, it was probably, 2013 or something. And, I was one of those dudes who filled an apartment with graphics cards, and I was mining Litecoin and, making all my neighbors mad with, running wires all over the place. And so that's how I got into things, was, mining early on. And then, I went through the phases of Bitcoin that, we've all seen. And, obviously Samurai Wallet's where it's at it's a very attractive project in terms of privacy and the future of Bitcoin. So that's why we're here.
Good stuff. And thanks on short notice for joining as well, kind of as a special guest, Samurai Wallet. There might be some people listening to this and viewing this who aren't familiar with like what Samurai Wallet even is, or haven't been hands-on with it yet, even if they have heard of it. So maybe if you want to share, any of your background that you're comfortable sharing and kind of an overview of the project.
Sure. Hey, Stephen. Nice to see you guys again. And also do want to reiterate a big thanks to Bitcoin Magazine for restreaming this. That's awesome. So yeah, if you haven't yet heard, I have given the story of how I got into Bitcoin quite a few times on various podcasts. But let me start with what Samurai Wallet is for those if you haven't heard. Very, very simply, we are a Bitcoin wallet. Well, we style it as a Bitcoin wallet for the streets, and that means that there's a lot packed into that statement. But at the heart of it, it's a Bitcoin wallet which maximizes on-chain privacy while still allowing you to be mobile, get around, move around, and not be tied down to a box in your house or a laptop computer or something like that. So you get the power of a full Bitcoin wallet in the shell of a light wallet, basically. So the functionality, the features, the headline features like CoinJoin and Ricochet and all that sort of stuff, no one else has anything like that. But the little features are really what makes Samurai special, in my opinion. The RBF, the child pays for parent, the paynims, all these sorts of smaller, less talked about functionalities really, when put together, make a very comprehensive product that if you legitimately use Bitcoin on a daily basis or on a regular basis, you immediately see the value there. And that's what we mean by Bitcoin for the streets. Bitcoin for those people who are out there transacting, who are out there sending and receiving, who may be doing something where, PayPal would definitely shut them down, or even one of these centralized Bitcoin services will definitely shut them down because you break their terms of service. There's none of that with Samurai Wallet. We don't make value judgments on what you do. We don't want to know what you do. We don't want to know anything about any of that. Bitcoin for the streets. So that's the quick and dirty Samurai introduction. And as for how I got into Bitcoin, probably around the same time as Guerra, 2013. I needed it because I needed to move money. There were remittance. I needed to move money from one country to another. And I looked at all the various different options out there, and I came across Bitcoin, and I said, "Oh, this will do the job great." And there just happened to be a really nice arbitrage spread as well, so I made a killing on that, and that's that's how I started, and then I'm still here.
Cool stuff. Still going strong.
Yeah.
So I think that context is really helpful. Like, I think it's cool when people hear about various projects in the space to have an idea of like where the projects came from and who created it and the context with which they created it.
So that ties in perfectly with Ronin Dojo. Is everything Samurai Wallet just talked about. Then we really thought about how is this Samurai Wallet powered? There's a there's a full node behind every wallet, or someone's running your node somewhere. So we really started to think about that, and we looked at Dojo and how powerful it was. And it just made sense to move from guides that we had to keep updating. It's a lot of work to maintain those guides and keep them current. And we moved from that to just deciding, hey, let's automate this thing. Let's automate Dojo so we can make sure, we can verify ourselves that these Samurai wallets are powered privately, by our own hardware.
Awesome. Yeah. So I guess that probably tees us up for that's the high level kind of what Ronin is, one level of detail down for that. I guess kind of like the target person who would be using Ronin. Maybe that's a good place to start. How technical do you have to be successful with the project? What's the interface like when you're using it? What type of user might want to think about this as a solution?
I'll hit this one. So Ronin definitely, I'll say the hardest thing for most people is literally flashing an SD card if they've never done it before, and then connecting, that initial time, like getting their IP address of the Pi, or whatever device that you're using, because we can support every single small computer, Rock Pro 64 or Rock Pi, all that stuff. We support them. But so whatever you're using, normally it's just finding the IP address is the hardest part. After that, everything has been automated. So all you literally have to do is download the repo and then start. You hit Ronin and then it does it all for you. So, and a lot of that has progressed significantly over the last 3 months. We had a community member come in and decide that he wanted to help us out. His name's Likewell, and he's like he's been a huge help. He's an awesome Bash developer, and along with a lot of other things, but he's really helped us flip it around and take it to the next level. But it doesn't require much or any real skill. You'll learn. In fact, we design everything to help new users even learn command line if they want to. You're going to be in command line a little bit. All the troubleshoot stuff is going to be in command line because that's it's a headless device. So you're going to learn. And I think the point is that one of the things that I wanted to do and make sure that people took away is that it's not scary to be in the command line, and that you should be okay with it. You should start to become comfortable, because ultimately, if you don't want to have to trust other people, you need to learn how to troubleshoot stuff yourself. You can have people help guide you to it, but if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to take that step, you're going to start to be able to do all this stuff on your own, and that removes another layer of trust, right? And that's my big thing. And Guerra's been awesome about documenting all of our code, all of our scripts are really well documented, so that people can go back in and see hey, what's going on here? What does this script do? How does it do it? What's the function? And that way people can go in and they can learn on their own. Because the whole point of our project wasn't just, here's Dojo, here's Dojo for a Pi. We wanted it to be more than that, because we're Samurai community, we want to help other people get better. We don't want to just give you a product just to, say, hey, okay, here, now you're free. We want people to take a similar journey as us if they choose to, take that journey, learn, become more empowered yourself. That was one of the things that I always wanted to make sure that we implemented. I think we've done a really good job with that.
Yeah, so probably not just you probably don't have to be, a Linux administrator to be able to be successful with it. As long as you can say copy paste a command or two, then you can do that. But it sounds like it's also a good kind of technical on-ramp, where if you do have an interest in learning more about the stuff, then you can not only get over that hurdle easily, but you can kind of dig in, learn more about what's going on.
That's exactly right. And it's like a perfect learning platform. We'll always support that. We'll always be, pro education for people trying to learn even basic Linux stuff. And we'll always be supporting the DIY crowd. Even though we have future plans to make this easier, make it a plug and play box. And we're going to get more on that later in the stream. But, we want to let people know that we will always support the do-it-yourself crowd, and we'll have thorough documentation on everything at the same time as maintaining a quality product that's plug and play.
Nice, dude. One thing that you mentioned, well, there were a couple of things there that might be worth zooming in on a little bit. So when you were talking about the platforms and the architectures that you run on, you mentioned Pi a couple times. So maybe we could just touch on that a little bit, because I think that is a big piece. Like there might be some people tuning in and they have like a desktop PC at home that they could put Linux or Windows on, and maybe they want to know if they could run Dojo on that or run Ronin on that. And then what the smaller, like a Pi or any other platforms that you do support, kind of what the options are that they have there.
Yeah. Okay. So with the first part where you talked about the running it on like a virtual machine or, whatever, the whole concept of why we had to start this was because most people who were trying to run Dojo is built, and it still is built around a full computer, right? The x86 platform. So that's how it's designed, right? So there's a lot of Docker images. There's a lot of different pieces that are particular to an x86 platform. So what we had to do was come back in and change a lot of things and make it specific to a Raspberry Pi or a Rock Pro 64 or like a Rock Pi 4. There's a ton of different single board computers, but we had to change some of the scripts and stuff like that. We had to modify the Docker images so it was specific and it could run on this platform. And as Dojo has grown and added features, which has been cool to see, we've had to modify as well. So that was why originally we didn't have any virtual machine aspect, but we do have someone on our team who's been working on it. He's basically forked our repo and has it set up so that you can run it on a virtual machine. You still get all the same benefits of the easy launch. You still get all the menu options and control and everything that we already run. So and our plans is to continue to migrate those two and have them all come together. That's kind of down the line. Again, our main focus is those people who want a dedicated device that's going to be on all the time, can just run at home. They can set it and forget it. And that's like the benefit of these single board computers is they're low power. You can set it there and just leave it. You have your backend server all set and ready. So, that's really what it came down to. I don't know if that answered any of the questions.
Can I jump in real quick, guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
So just to further the point that the guys have been making, when we launched Dojo, so for one, it might surprise people because we put out a lot of software and a lot of features, but we have an incredibly small team. Less than 10 people, and only 4 of them are like actual programmers, right? So it's a tiny team. When we launched Dojo, we said, look, here it is. It works, and we're going to maintain this. This is it going forward. But we can't officially support it. We just don't have the capacity to officially support the product in the same way that we do with the wallet. And if you use the wallet and you've had to contact support, you'll know it's basically 24/7, and you'll get a response real quick, and it will be helpful. We couldn't afford to do that with Dojo. So once Zelko and Guerra and some of the other guys, once they got Dojo installed themselves, and yeah, it was hard for them. I remember the original messages and the original questions and stuff, and our community is phenomenal, and they helped out. Once these guys clocked it, not only did they run it and walk the walk, but they started teaching others, right, with the guides. So, and that's the thing with our community is people step up, and that's why I think it's such a fantastic community. So as they stepped up and they released the dojo for single board computers, that's a significant engineering task. You know, that's not just forking a repo and changing some variables around. These guys have put in the work, and you know, it's awesome to see as an open source developer, your users forking your code, modifying it to make it more usable for them and another subset of users that you weren't able to do that for. It's a phenomenal thing, and it's a testament to the power of not only open source but free software, and not, you know, free as in monetarily free, but free as in freedom. And I cannot give these guys enough credit for what they've done. It's a phenomenal project.
I love that, man. Yeah, it's like not just, I mean, it is like the open source ethos, but it also just feels like you guys were alluding to, like the samurai community is just very kind of loyal and tightly knit and supportive. And it's a really good environment for this.
It's a cool community. It's a really, you know, I'm very proud of the community that has decided to join, you know, us. And have decided to run our software and use it, and not just run it and use it, but share it and tell other people about it, and build their own derivative works on it, and their own products and their own services. And really, it was these guys who figured it out first. I've been waiting for someone to figure it out, that Dojo is more than just a full node, right? It's more than just something that you can connect your Android wallet to. I mean, this is a full featured product that you could build entire Bitcoin businesses on top of. We've built our entire Samurai stack on top of Dojo, and you could do the same thing, right? So these guys are the first to actually recognize the potential of Dojo in that way, and it's exciting to see.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny seeing the progression of Dojo, you know, from the different releases and what we actually had featured in even just in the guides, because you know, now there's an indexer, there's an explorer, you have Whirlpool, everything is wrapped into one. But, you know, we had that from essentially from the beginning. You know, we were having it like, hey, one spot, you run it all. Thankfully now it's like super enhanced now because it's all connected. And you know, Laurent is a genius on his side. But it's kind of cool seeing like, oh look, like they added this feature, cool, like we can add that. And then they modified the indexer. So because the nice thing is that we had so many people run Dojo off of a single board computer that we were able to give such good feedback to, you know, the other Dojo devs, and it allowed them to enhance and continue to build and make Dojo better. So now it's almost like, you know, yeah, we've modified it and we tailor Ronin Dojo to our users, but it's cool because like as we add things or as we find, you know, things that get fixed, they immediately get implemented into the dojo for everybody. So it's just kind of cool seeing it progress from like, oh look, like we had the Explorer, now everyone has the Explorer. Oh, we had Electrum, like we had an indexer with Electrum Rust server, now everybody has an indexer, or at least has the option to run it, right? And it's really cool development to see it happen. It's just as a community member that all you wanted to do was to help other people because other people helped you. You know, that's the big thing, especially for me. And I've talked about it with Libera before, but man, we really do stand on like the shoulders of giants. Like there are some people who took a lot of time and answered a lot of basic questions that I look back and I'm like, I can't believe I didn't know that. But they answered basic questions for us and really helped us learn and build up to where we are now. So like I said, it's really that community, and that I don't want to keep like patting everybody on the back, but like the samurai community is just like, it's fucking awesome. And if you're not there, you should definitely come check it out. I know that was one.
And they have the best memes.
Take a drink, everyone. Zelko's first curse.
Whatever. Ergo can take his drink. Yeah, it's
and there's so much packed into Dojo. I think that people don't even realize it. You know, that's part of why I'm excited to launch that website. And whenever you guys are ready, I can put that thing up because it's got everything detailed, and we can go into the features and everything.
That sounds awesome. Real quick before we do that, I guess just to make sure that anybody who's new is kind of keeping all these things straight that we're mentioning. We touched on this earlier, but it was pretty quickly. So like, just to clarify, there is Samurai Wallet. It's the Android app. You can you can install that, and it's fully functional Bitcoin privacy wallet. And then there's Dojo, which is separate, and you don't necessarily have to be running Dojo, right? So when you just install Samurai Wallet, then you're kind of using the backend servers that are hosted by and run by Samurai Wallet. And Dojo, right, is this additional project that if you want to and you're capable of and it makes sense given your circumstance, then you can run your own instance of that software so that your transactions aren't kind of flowing through Samurai Wallet servers. That may I don't want to imply there that like Samurai Wallet never has, sort of control. It's not the transactions like flow through Samurai, the company, in the default state. But your XPubs, any information about like your addresses and your activity, if you're running Dojo, then it's on the system that you control and not on Samurai's. Does that sound like a pretty good general overview?
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So it's just so people are clear, you don't give any information to Samurai Wallet. When you open that wallet and you create a brand new wallet, whatever, say you don't have Dojo back, then it goes to the Samurai servers. They're running Dojo on their side, right? So if you run Dojo, you understand what this means because you've imported your XPub before. You understand that like your XPub is derived and all that information stored there. What they don't know is they don't get KYC information. They don't get anything that ties you to you. That's one of the big like misconceptions that I think a lot of people have. Is it better for you to keep your own XPubs? Absolutely. Is it a requirement? No, I don't think so. I think it's best practice. I think it's best moving forward if you care about, if you want 100% privacy and you want to do everything and be your own bank and not rely on anybody, which is what every Bitcoiner should be, then you should be running Dojo. And Dojo is super powerful. There's no real limit to what you can do as far as being able to connect things. I mean, if I wanted to, I could do everything that's on like my node. We could connect all of it to it, but we don't. We focus on what a Samurai user needs. That's the on-chain privacy, the cypherpunk tools that the Samurai Wallet team actually made. So your XPubs is going to, when you run Dojo, it stays local to you. You're going to verify all your all the Bitcoin. You're going to verify all your transactions, broadcast all your transactions. And then the beauty of it is that if there's something that's wrong, then you get to fix it. So and that's what we're here for. We're here to help people. And but ultimately, you're not trusting anybody else. You're trusting your own full node.
Cool. That's really good context. And that's probably a good segue now. I know you guys have some content you've created. If you want to show stuff, announce stuff, walk us through stuff.
Oh yeah, let me get that website up for us right now. And Zelko, maybe you can start touching on some features while I get the website up and put this tweet out.
Okay, yeah.
It's it's launching. It's like the tweet and everything. Like we are like launching now. I love it.
Yeah. So we're what we've been working on is a graphic user interface, a GUI, to kind of take it to the next level. What we wanted to do was stay in line with kind of how Samurai Wallet already does it, right? So they already have a desktop app for Whirlpool, right? So we use a similar model into creating our own desktop app that it's connected through Tor. So you can access it. Let's say you take your laptop on the go, or you go on a trip, like Steven, I know that you're out of town. So if you wanted to connect back and say, hey, like, let me check my node, make sure everything's working, or even reset your node, say that something's up and you want to try to reset it, you can do that from your from anywhere with this GUI. And one of the big things is that and you see it with some of the other projects that implemented Dojo. It's a super complex system, and for good reason. Like it's a full server. It's not just like a node that takes in blocks, and verifies transactions. It does a lot more, and it's very complex. So sometimes things go wrong. And what we wanted to do was make sure that users could interact, view, and do everything that they needed to for that full node, and be able to restart it, do whatever they need to do from a basic level with this app, instead of like you just seeing icons and it's okay, start, and okay, cool. We wanted to give you full access to all the logs, all the start, stop features, all the different onion addresses that you need, because everything is run through Tor. You don't need to open any ports other than your SSH port. You don't need to open any ports. You don't need to change your router to open it up to anyone. So you definitely stay more secure in that aspect.
Nice. That tends to be a hassle too, just like port forwarding and all that stuff.
Port forwarding is a pain in the ass. Like that was one of the biggest things for me when I was first trying to do, when I was first trying to set up a node way back, and I didn't know anything about networking. I didn't know any of that stuff. So trying to do that was such a hassle. And then once I realized how much better everything was over Tor, and it's more private, that was it's like a no-brainer now. Like I don't know why I would ever do it the other way. But as far as like some of our other features, we support Electrum Rust server as an option. You don't have to. Say if you don't run if you don't run any hardware wallets and you don't want to use Electrum, you don't need to. But we do offer Electrum Rust server as well as the Samurai address indexer, so that if you need to, import an existing wallet, if you need to, rescan Nextpub or anything along those lines to help you refresh your transactions, refresh your wallet, it's definitely faster and it's definitely recommended. So we support that. Obviously, we have Whirlpool integrated. We have Whirlpool Stat Tool. I think we're the only ones that have that, and it gives you. It's a tool that Laurent, T-Dev, and Samurai came up with to help you calculate what your anonymity set is for your Whirlpool transactions, and it's definitely really cool to play with and see. Okay, like I've been letting this transaction mix for, I don't know, 50 mixes. Like where am I at? And you get to actually see your forward and backward anonymity set. We can post maybe the Medium article on Twitter or something, but because that's like it's a whole another like lesson to jump into. But those are some of the other features. And the
website is live now, ronindojo.io, so anyone can follow along.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Nice.
So and the other cool thing with the
looks
website.
slick.
Yeah, the other cool thing with the website, if you definitely suggest you jump in, throw that website into the Tor browser, and you'll have a nice cool little surprise that jumps on there. That's a big shout out to Likewell. But yeah, so with Ronin Dojo, you're going to get like the simple interface. It's like a nice menu system, kind of similar to how Raspberry Blitz does it, just different menu options to go through. And then, we have the Block Explorer that's accessible over Tor. You can check that anywhere, check it on mobile. And then, down the line, some of the other features that we have coming, we're going to have Luke's encryption on your SSD. We're going to have the RAID option set up. We've made it very easy if you need to reflash your SD card, or if you need to transition from a different node, being able to pull that blockchain data. We definitely made it easy for people to transition, and we're going to continue to make that easier, because I think the more people see what we're doing as far as staying focused on the project that we have, rather than try to add everything under the sun, throw the kitchen sink at it. You're going to want to stay with the node that has the features that you're looking for and stays up to date and is continuing to build towards what you need. And that's really what we're doing. What else? Did I miss anything else?
Digging it. The site
I
looks
think you
good.
covered it pretty good.
The onion
Yeah,
version
yeah,
of the site
and,
looks good.
Steven, if you
Those
if you want-
screenshots on the, go for it.
I was going to say, Steven, if you wanted to screen share, you can screen share it if you want. Some of the other things that we're going to offer, we're going to have the, Guerra kind of mentioned it earlier. We're working on a plug and play option right now. But our transition is going to be starting with, like we're going to offer like a pre-built, a pre-built box that you can then still do it yourself. All you have to do is plug it in and then, install the repo and then go. And transitioning from there to a nice customized, literally everything like a IBD already done, kind of similar to a nodal style full node that's ready to go as soon as you get there. Me personally,
Initial
I really
block
like downloading.
download, so like no need to wait to download the blockchain, right? Which potentially takes long time, days.
Yeah,
Right.
I generally have seen that like the IBD takes the initial block download takes about 3 to 4 days. But I personally really like doing that. It's kind of a cool feeling to know that you've seen, like, that your full node is all of the transactions from the Bitcoin blockchain, because you did it yourself. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. I'm going to try to share my screen here and see. I think you guys should be able to share, but I'm going to try to do mine here and share this window. And
Okay.
it's cool to show the onion version of it.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, of course.
Boom. You guys see that?
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry, I was scrolled down there. Boom. There's the landing page.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is still a work in progress, but I'm pretty stoked about it. Gloria did a really good job.
Those screenshots up there, if you go to that picture carousel at the top, there's some good ones there that you can show the, see down there under overview. You can scroll over on those pictures.
Yeah, sweet.
And, it's a good picture of the Explorer that's built in there. And then the next one is a picture of the Ronin Dojo command line interface. That will always be free and available to the do-it-yourself guys. And, of course, we gotta see what we're doing with Whirlpool here. That's what it's all
You gotta
about.
have a zero link coin join.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to go check out the other live stream on that one. Yeah, so and to transition off that for a second, one of the other things that we are working on a premium version. We're going to be releasing this GUI here shortly, and I'll demo it. That's a little screenshot down there, right there.
There we go.
So
that's it.
and I'll talk about the features, but we are planning on our roadmap is going to be a premium version of this GUI. It's going to have a Whirlpool GUI built into it, hardware wallet interface that gives you access to the Samourai wallet tools. So your post-mix spending, your Stonewall X2, Ricochet, all of those features that you love that you don't have access to on your hardware wallet, we're going to integrate it so that you have those options. And so like within your hardware wallet, and you're going to connect it to your own full node with Ronin Dojo and be able to do it all yourself. So those are just some of a few of the features that we're going to offer inside that premium version. But we're super stoked to be able to release this free community version, and there will always be a free community version. But we are working ahead, and that's like I kind of said during the My Node, I think that having building a business around Bitcoin where you're, especially for offering services, is really important. It allows us to not have to rely on, you know, whether it's just donations or whether it's, you know, taking in, you know, taking in the wrong investors and stuff like that. I don't have to bend the knee to anybody. So, you know, we want to be able to continue to do our work and support our families, because we do spend a lot of time away from our families to do this stuff. You know, and without that, we obviously wouldn't be able to do any of it. But we wanted to do the premium so that we could help sustain the program that we have and the support that we have. And I think that more Bitcoin businesses need to do that, especially when we're talking about the future of Bitcoin. Like I know everyone's already tracking the price jumps that we've had, but we definitely need to stay on track of privacy and not forget kind of where we came from, you know?
Well said.
Oh, one other cool feature. I feel like, Brian, you normally ask this question. And so I'll answer it before you get to it. Normally you ask, can I connect BISC to this full node? That's normally your question, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Guerra, you wanna answer that one?
Oh yeah, we already do have a wiki page set up for that. If you want to connect your Ronin Dojo to your BISC and, you know, back it with your own full node versus trusting someone else's, it's very, very simple. You just edit one line using your text editor and you upgrade your Ronin Dojo using the menu, and boom, you're good to go. Then you can just input the onion address of your full node into your BISC user interface, and you're good to go. It's in the settings. I think it's under maybe advanced or something like that in the BISC GUI.
That's sweet.
So yeah, we're always trying to support those no KYC on ramps. Because it's extremely important. You know, we've
if you check out the Ronin Dojo Twitter, I've made a post about the BISC thing just a couple of days ago.
Yeah, dude, the GUI looks awesome, guys. Like, and shout out to like Woe too. Like he's been trying to help me get into the Linux game. Like I have all the hardware like at my house that I just need to like pony up and get involved with what you guys are doing. And so today is making me excited to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the whole thing, is that, and that really speaks to like what our mission is. You know, I can't tell you the amount of hours between, you know, Guerra and myself, Crazy K, and all the other guys on Telegram, of how many hours we've spent walking through onboarding people who really, really, really want privacy. They really want to have that self-sovereign take on Bitcoin, and they want to take back their freedom and their privacy. And man, like the amount of hours that we've done that is to no end, but it's worth it. Every person that I've onboarded, like my tolerance has gone definitely a little lower than it used to be as far as helping out people, as some of the guys joke around in the Telegram group about. But I definitely love doing it. And like, I mean, I was on a mission for a while of like I was like, we need to get Dojo to every single person. Like, I wanted it on my node, I wanted it on Raspberry Blitz, I wanted it on Ronin, I wanted it on, and obviously Nodal already had it. I was like all trying to get every single full node to have it. And then I realized that like my efforts need to be focused and focusing on our project that is really meant and designed specifically for Samurai users, because, you know, that's who we are. We're not some devs that are just trying to add some other things that, you know, they like and they think they're cool. We build this for ourselves, just like Samurai Wallet does. But being from the community, we know what people want, and then we listen. You know, we try to always take that next step. And as Samurai does things, we're gonna complement it next day, same day. So that's always pretty cool.
Yeah. Talk more about so I've only ever run Whirlpool on the Android phone. So talk more about how that screen is gonna show me like so when, because I hear all you guys say like, oh, the coins are still mixing, but like it's hard for me to visualize what that means like just through the phone right now.
Yeah, I got you. So what happens when you're running a Whirlpool client CLI is really what it is. It's you're running the back end of Whirlpool and you're running it on a device that's dedicated 24/7. So once it's logged in, that is mixing all the time until you stop it. So as one transaction gets mixed, the next one gets queued up and goes. There is a Whirlpool client CLI that runs on your phone. So that's why, that's why you have to keep the phone running, right? So as long as the client CLI is running somewhere, then you're able to mix. Now the benefit is that running it mobile, you can do like different address types. You can consolidate multiple transactions into one TX0. Those are all things that you can't do from the Whirlpool GUI. What I think is the best combo is a mix of everything. So when I do a TX0, I do it from mobile, right? I get the most features that are available through mobile. Once I do that, and then I go through a mix, from that point on, after that TX0, I'm checking my GUI. I can change, the total mix count, however many I want to, like what my target goal is. I can change all that stuff. I can add S codes easy, which you can also do on the mobile. Wherever you're TX0ing is where you need to add the S code. Okay, guys. And then, from there, the back end CLI is running on my dojo. So it's just running 24/7. I don't have to touch it. So I can rest easy. I can go to sleep at night easy, knowing like, hey, my coins are still mixing. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to keep my phone open. I don't have to do any of that stuff. So that was one thing I was worried about when they went mobile. I was like, man, I really hope that like the Whirlpool CLI doesn't lose its edge, and it definitely hasn't. It's a good combo to use all three, in my opinion. Does that kind of answer it?
To make sure people understand. So GUI, the Whirlpool GUI is a desktop app. Like any other desktop app has a graphical user interface. You can point and click and touch things with your mouse. The CLI stands for command line interface. That is a command line app that runs on your computer or on your server or wherever you have it running, or within your dojo, of course. And the mobile app is a combination of GUI and CLI built into one. Just so jargon didn't get anyone confused.
And the desktop versions are compatible with different OSs, right? So like Windows or Linux.
Yeah, they're compatible. The only issue is it requires you to have an Android phone, because the only way you can quote unquote log in to the desktop app is via your mobile Samurai wallet. We have plans to open that up and make it broader. So even if you have an iOS device, you could still, and not a Samurai wallet on your mobile, you could still use the desktop app. We just haven't got there yet.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
That sounds cool. Yeah, let's see. There was one more point that brought up for me along the lines of like compatibility. I guess like that separation, the fact that like you do still need the wallet, and a big part of that, right, is because that's where like the private keys live. So at no point are private keys to your Bitcoin on Dojo, on Ronin Dojo, on like Samurai.
Well, they're within Whirlpool. They're within Whirlpool, and that's actually the reason why there isn't just a normal username and password screen to log in. It requires you to use your mobile wallet to log in, because essentially what you're doing is you're creating, quote unquote, or restoring your Bitcoin wallet within this Whirlpool app. And this Whirlpool app is now going to look at the same Bitcoin wallet that's on your phone, but it's going to offer slightly different functionality, like mix these coins. We don't want people typing in their mnemonic and their passphrase into a computer. That's dangerous. So the Android app is required because we encrypt the mnemonic, provide a QR code or a text string of that encrypted mnemonic seed, which is your 12 words. that you put into the Whirlpool app and then type in your passphrase. So you're only giving, if your computer has a keylogger installed on it for whatever reason and you don't know about, that keylogger is only getting one part of what it needs to access your wallet. It's not getting both parts. So it's just a security concern because, look, we never wanted to touch desktop. We like mobile. We are a mobile first company. It makes things so much easier. The attack surface is so much smaller on mobile, especially when you're dealing with one operating system, Android. Even though there's multiple versions, you can still contain things easier. Desktop is a whole different issue. It's a whole different attack surface. So we really wanted to be cautious with it. We wanted to make sure that users weren't typing in their mnemonic seed and their passphrase and giving any potential attackers a way into their wallet. So that's the reasoning behind requiring an Android phone with a Samurai wallet installed top app.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good clarification. Sweet. We had a question in chat. It was a ways up, but I think it was generally like a user who's right now on MyNode and they're considering kind of Ronin Dojo and this more specific like Samurai solution. What are the general trade-offs that you guys would see in that, like whether that makes sense for them?
Zilko, you want to?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So I would say that the biggest thing is that it's really in how it's implemented. That's like, I'm not going to get super technical, but we use a I'll call it quote unquote default dojo settings. Okay, so the Bitcoin node is inside the dojo net, the Docker system containers. Okay, so with that, that's how Dojo was designed, right? When it got released, it was designed that way. On the other side, if you're using an existing full node, which is what my node does, it's considered an advanced feature. So it's a little trickier. The settings get messed up a little bit more, and then troubleshooting is much more difficult. So, and that comes from our whole factor of Samurai first, right? Samurai features first, and focus on those features. If you're a MyNode user and you care, like you're like, look, I use Samurai Wallet all the time. I want to mix my coins. I want to use this. And then, I have a hardware wallet and I want to be able to connect that. And that's really what you do. Maybe you play around with Lightning. I would switch to Ronin, because you know that the functionality is going to be, the uptime is incredibly high. The amount of people that have actual issues is very, very, very low. And, like I used to try to help as much as I could with MyNode stuff. And we get them all the time in Telegram group of, like I'm on MyNode and I'm not getting, like my dojo went down or whatever it was, and now I can't get it back up. Or like I can't see my transactions. Like I said, Dojo is very complex and like on the back end side. So we try to keep it as close to the original, and it is as close to the original as possible, and that alleviates almost all of the issues that anyone has. So if you kind of play with Lightning, you don't really use it, but you just kind of buying a few stickers here and there, I would say that you're better off. If your main wallet is a Samurai wallet, you should use Ronin Dojo versus MyNode. Now, if you're like, look, I'm all in on Lightning, I want to play with Lightning 20 like all the time, and I want to have these big open capacities and everything else, either MyNode or Raspberry Blitz is probably more of like the route you want to go. But like I said, if you're a Samurai user and you want to stay a Samurai user, and you want to like get the full functionality with less headache, I would go with Ronin Dojo.
I posted it in the chat. One of our users they reported 3 weeks, 5 days of uptime so far on one of their Ronin Dojos. So that's, we love to have, just a simple, clean cut, something that works, because this is something that you want to be able to use every day. You're on the go, you pull your phone out, you need to know that this thing is running, that it's working. So, we're only going to focus on bringing you the latest features that are, simple, easy to use, and most importantly, things that you'll use every day, not something experimental.
Man, that summed it up perfectly.
Nice. Yeah, it seems like if the users are already in the Samurai ecosystem, or if they want to kind of try being more specific in the Samurai ecosystem, you guys are offering a more kind of like rich, focused solution for that.
Yeah.
Where it's different software to tinker with, experiment with, but less of
sure.
that focus.
And the other thing is that, I said this before, right? Dojo is a full node, right? In some of my original guides, because I was still a Lightning, I thought Lightning was fun and cool, whatever, before I started to get fully red-pilled and based. I connected. I had a guide dedicated to starting with default Dojo and then connecting Light LND to it. So with that, there is someone, I think it was Damn Cool, has he has a guide that he put out for connecting to running your own Lightning node by using your Dojo. So like, that's tinkering. We're not going, like, I'm going to be the first to tell you, like, we're not going to fully support Lightning right now. The only way that I really see that happening at this point is if, for whatever reason under the sun, the Samurai wallet decides to add Lightning into their wallet. Because, if you don't add Lightning to your wallet, if you don't add Lightning support to your wallet, you're going to die, right? I think that was the saying.
That's what they said. Okay. That was 2 years ago now, and not dead.
Yeah, not dead.
We're still here.
So if for whatever reason Samurai Wallet adds Lightning support, you'll see Ronin Dojo have full Lightning node capability behind it. But like I said, I don't see that happening anytime
and
soon.
Don't get us wrong, we're not just hating on anything. I have my first full node ever was a Raspy Bolt that's a project by Staticus, and I tried Lightning. I bought the fridge magnets and all that shit, and it was interesting to try, but it just has a really, really long way to go, and it's a very complex subject, and it's something that's hard to include into Ronin Dojo at this time.
Yeah. And I would say I'm the same way. I know Samurai you're about to talk to. I was the same way, and like I said, I respect the developers who are working on it. There's a lot of good developers. I don't think we're there. I think it's like a whole off topic, but I just don't see the need for it right now. I don't see the demand. I don't have a ton of users who are coming in saying, "Oh, when are you going to implement Lightning?"
Right.
I don't.
If it's demanded by the users, we'll start definitely considering it.
Yeah,
Zelko, at this time,
Probably
are you
not.
ready to start the demo of the GUI?
Well, I want to see what Samurai has to say first.
I was just going to say, I do have a reputation, unwarranted, I believe, for quote unquote shitting on Lightning. I don't shit on Lightning, and I don't shit on builders. I think anyone building anything deserves respect, especially if they're doing it open source, and especially if they're respecting the ethos that I feel is a prerequisite to Bitcoin, which is non-custodial and open source. My issue with Lightning comes down to a cultural thing. I've seen throughout my time and throughout the formulation of the Lightning Network through to the initial first products that we're starting to see come out, there has been a kind of disregard of those two main tenets of open source and non-custodial. So to me, it's not interesting in that respect. And to me, it's actually quite dangerous because it erodes the cultural aspects of Bitcoin. That being said, when a darknet market implements Lightning, then I'll be interested in it, because that's the demand that I'm looking for. I want to see what those guys are using and why they're using it and how we can serve those people. Because again, that's Bitcoin for the streets. Those are the people we need to reach, because they're the ones that are actually using this stuff in the way that it was designed to be used.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. And if I can add on top of that, sometimes just if you're a casual Bitcoiner, like turning in for the first time and kind of like hearing that for the first time, or kind of just experiencing like just Samurai Wallet for the first time, that can kind of sound interesting. But think about like as the world, like 2020 is crazy. No one needs like us to say that 2020 is crazy. Like, and we've seen more and more markets every day are being pushed into being a gray market and being pushed into being a dark market. And so when like that's why like the kind of ethos of like Sam, not putting words in their mouth, but like that's the way that I've as I listen to like them talk and have like experience hanging out with the Samurai community over the past few months, like that's what I see, is that it's not necessarily again about supporting what anyone chooses to do or not do. It's about realizing that like the whole point of like Bitcoin for the streets is to have the ability to like make uncensorable transactions. And so that's why to watch the signals of kind of like what dark markets are doing.
That's right. And honestly, dude, that's the reason for Bitcoin. Not just Bitcoin for the streets. Bitcoin is about uncensorable transactions. It was never about anything else. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah. And you know, when you say darknet markets, you immediately go to guns, drugs, and all sorts of things that, you know, are probably illegal in most jurisdictions. You don't go to the person who's buying the N95 masks that they weren't able to get because it was completely out of stock everywhere, or the people who are buying medication across state lines or across from the U.S. to Canada because they can't get it in the U.S. You know, there's a whole economy out there that people, you know, if all you've ever done is interface, you know, with the legacy financial system, you have no idea. But the gray market is the largest market in the world. Yeah. It dwarfs everything else, you know. Yeah. So if you don't know that, you need to start thinking, well, shit, what else don't I know? And let me go have a look. And you're right. You're absolutely right, Brian. You know, if you just come in and start listening to me, my statements do not do well in sound bites. You know, there is a lot of nuance and a lot of stuff that you needs to be taken in. So you start to get that when you hang out. And I remember when you first joined up in the Telegram room, Brian, and you know, you just observe and you watch and you ask questions, and if I say something that really kind of just does not vibe with you, you said something, right? Like you asked a question, right. You said, hey, what is that? What's that about? And you know, I'm a very open and honest guy. I will tell you exactly what's on my mind. I don't expect you to have to agree with me, but I want you to know where my headspace is at. And I hope that as more people join up in the community in the Telegram rooms, and as Ronin brings in more people from just various wider subsets of you know, the marketplace, they too will come in, absorb, and make their own decisions and their own minds up, but at least have a wider view of things. You know, this Bitcoin thing, it's a lot more than number go up, right? It's a lot more than that. That is just a side effect and sort of a distraction, actually. What we really need to be looking at is, what is Bitcoin about? And it's about uncensorable transactions, and it is about financial sovereignty.
Yeah.
End of.
One feature of Samurai Wallet, I would say, is that you never have to wonder what Samurai is thinking.
That's right. You know, you'll know exactly where I stand. You might not like it. You might not like it, but you'll know.
The other thing that like this series has helped me like learn, and I think some of the other like listeners, has been to almost be able to break out each of the different all the software being worked on into kind of its own thing. Like this has really helped me understand that, like, now, like LND is a thing, like Dojo is a thing, you know, even Electrum server is a thing. Like, so rather than kind of like, because when I started this series, I had in my head that like, oh, a Bitcoin node is a node. Like, and then I just like kind of had this like one size fits all thing of that. And so this series has helped me understand that like, no, like there's the computer side of this where it's like, what hardware are you're effectively building a computer. Like if you listen to these guys and you walk through their guide and you click through their things, they're going to teach you how to build a computer. And then you're going to run software on it. And then how Zelka was saying, like, there's the software that they're putting out, and then there's other things that you can do to tinker with it, which if you want to go, you know, download L&D and run L&D straight from it, you know, like you can do that alongside of it. So that, I don't know, that's the other thing. So yeah, two things have really helped me like through this series is just realizing each of the different, like, I don't know if apps is like kind of not the right word for it, but almost that's how I've been like thinking about them.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful anarchy. It's a beautiful anarchy.
Love it.
And the beauty of it is that it's permissionless, right? Like you don't need to ask me to like implement something on your own. I don't need to ask during this entire process of like starting from guides and working my way up. Never once did. I mean, I would communicate because I like to like keep people in the loop. But if I wanted to implement something and Samurai Wallet was like, I don't think you should do that. There was many times where I said, you know, you can go F off because I'm going to do what I want. You know, it's permissionless. And so it's permissionless for us to build it, you know, thanks to their license. And then it's permissionless for anybody to build whatever they want on top of it. Like that's Bitcoin, you know, like that's the beauty of it is that like you can do whatever you want, however you want to do it, you know, and that's really what it all comes down to.
Yeah, on kind of a philosophical note for me, like along those lines, it's like one thing that feels exhausting at times, but that I've ultimately realized that I cherish and is good is that there are people who disagree with me on what Bitcoin is, maybe in huge ways or maybe in small ways. And you can just like, you know, you can't stop them. Like they're bold and they're uncompromising and everybody's just going to do what they want to do and what they think is best. And if you want to try to move the future in a certain direction, then like build and just try to do it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. I mean, like you see it with like the different communities, right? Like the different thought processes, right? Like spending versus holding, like just that in and of itself. But ultimately, like Bitcoin doesn't care. Like you can do whatever you want with it. I can sit here and tell you that like if you're not spending Bitcoin or you're not like actually using Bitcoin, like and it's just an investment tool, like is that I can have my own opinions on it, but like ultimately that's your Bitcoin. You can do whatever the hell you want with it. You can, you know, throw it on a Trezor and throw it in your, I don't know, in your backyard, bury it in the ground and call it good. That's up to you. Or you can be spending it. You can go like Brian and be out there on the streets and, you know, getting onboarding merchants and all that fun stuff. Like that's honestly the coolest part, seeing people do whatever they want to do, pushing however they want to push, you know. Some people are more disingenuous than others, but you know,
and that
Bitcoin is a choose your own adventure story.
And that's where I'm kind of trying to, I'm like realizing that even in my own life, Samurai just listed great examples of like gray markets that you don't even think of. And that's what got me thinking on this whole like merchant adoption thing is that, dude, there's gray markets in my own backyard that I don't even know about. There's businesses that are being pushed around by people all the time and need help. Like this like literally need this solution. And so that kind of like got me fired up, realizing that like it's not, you know, it is. They're like, I don't want to just buy stickers with Lightning. Like I want to go out in the world and like, and get things that like my family needs. Like, and I want to be able to help like another entrepreneur that like is selling things that my family needs. Like, and so, and if that happens on Lightning or if that happens on chain, if that happens like with these tools, like I think it can. Like, I don't think there's any reason why we can't start helping, you know, like, again, I really believe like here in the US, like more and more businesses every day are being shoved into the gray market. And so like the you know, sets of users that need Bitcoin is growing every single day here in the US also.
Absolutely.
Dig it. All right. Should we hit the GUI demo? We got a good dose of philosophy. Now we can.
Yeah. I had a feeling we were going to hit the philosophy.
I'll go ahead and fire off the tweet with the roadmap too. So
All
and
right.
Zelko can kind of cover the future of the GUI too.
All right. So you guys can see this, yeah or no?
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to point out this is the first time I'm seeing this as well, so this
awesome.
is exciting to me.
All right. So a couple things real quick. I have my Tor browser running. Okay. You have to have Tor browser running on the back on like the main computer. All right. So this is just a fresh node that I spun up. There's no information on it. It's in the QR code. You should go for it because it's only going to be good for like a day or two before I delete it. But this is what it's going to be like when we have this next release. So you'll go to the back end, just hit install. And a big shout out to like, whoa, this was all his mastermind as far as the scripts and installing it, some of them in the menu options. Pavel, however you want to say it, he'll get mad at me later, but he is the creator. He's the brainchild behind the actual GUI. All right, so now I'm installed. I can check the status. So we're online. Down here in credentials, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to take this onion address right here. For anybody that doesn't know how to copy anything out of the terminal, it's just Control Shift C. Right.
That was a problem that stumped Zelko for weeks.
Like you say that like it was a joke.
No, I'm not saying it like a joke because I remember it.
He's like, don't be stupid, just Control Shift C. Oh, okay. On another note, it does blow my mind when like normal people that don't interact with computers don't know how to do simple things like copy with a hotkey. Blows my mind. Anyways, so this is a totally separate password. This password is unique to the actual GUI. All right, so this is what's just going to, like, if you reset or every time that you log in hereafter, or you close out the app and open it back up, you need to log in with this password that you're setting right here. So as you can see, right, we got logged in. And some of the features that we added, number one, I can get a quick screenshot, like a quick snapshot of what's going on with my node. Here's all my Docker containers. Like I said, it's a lot. That's why it's a complex system. If I wanted to pair, like a brand new wallet or rescan a wallet, whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and scan this Dojo QR code. This is the same QR code that you're gonna find on the Dojo maintenance tool. So we have it so it's a lot easier for people to then access, for later on. So if you spun up Ronin for the first time and you're like, okay, cool, I need to back my wallet. Here, you're good to go. And then the big one is the logs, because a lot of people, if you ever have to troubleshoot, the first thing you need to do is take a look at your logs and see where you're at. This is just your standard Bitcoin D logs. You see I'm all the way synced up. I don't have Whirlpool running on this one right now, and this so you can tell because I need to initialize it, which is like just pairing it with the GUI that payload, the encrypted payload that Samurai Wallet was talking about. So my indexer for this one, I'm actually using Electrum server, but it does the same thing. The logs look almost identical. And yeah, so this is just waiting. It's actually running on my, it's connecting. All these little logs are just connecting to the, like it's making calls to the Explorer. You make sure that you wouldn't be able to run this, but this just gives you an idea of like what's actually going on the Ronin backend. And then Tor, you'll see a lot of errors on this one, but this is normal. Just this little run through for anybody. Node.js is the big one. So it tells you, one, this is telling me that I'm up to date. It's processing the actual mempool. If I did a rescan of a wallet, you'll see this go and searching through every like every address within that XPub derivative, it'll go through every single one, or is whatever you set it to, it'll go through that, and it'll look for transactions. And so you'll see this one, run up. And then you can also, I tested this one out, it's pretty cool. If you do an offline transaction and you have that hex format, you can then broadcast it using this GUI. So you just pop that transaction in here and you can broadcast it straight from your GUI using your full node. And then right here, again, don't do this to other people. Don't go online and do this yourself, okay? Like full disclosure, I'm actually going to be resetting this, so I don't care if you see all this. But again, I can go in, and this is all just makes it easy for you to access. So if I want to go to the Explorer, I can just copy this, pop in that password. Same with the maintenance tool. Okay, so you go to that Dojo URL, grab your admin key, and then I can log in, and I'm good to go. So that's our simple. We try to keep it as simple as possible. We are looking to add some other things to the community version, like the XPub rescan function from the Dojo maintenance tool, and a few other small tinkering things to make it easier for users to actually so that they don't need to access the maintenance tool. That's really like my goal, is that I want you to not have to interact. I want you to be able to have as easy of just an easy experience. But on here, yeah, you can like restart different containers. These are the three big ones that people normally need to reset. You're either going to reset your whole dojo, reset just the Tor Docker, and that normally kind of gives you a fresh state. So if you're having errors or you can't connect to something, normally a reset of Tor is the first thing I recommend. And then resetting that whirlpool if, for whatever reason you need to, you want to restart it, and then you would have to log back in. That's the big thing with that GUI, the whirlpool GUI. You would need to log back in and enter that. All you have to do is enter in your passphrase, and then you can see I got a positive start. Go back in. You see I just got a full restart right here. So yeah, that's our GUI, short and simple and clean.
Nice. That looks super sick.
This looks
man.
awesome. Yeah, this is awesome.
And Zelko,
How
we
long
did put out
have-
the tweet about the roadmap.
What was that?
We did put out the tweet about the roadmap.
Okay. Do you want to go over it?
Yeah, I think people have kind of seen what we've deployed so far. But yeah, I mean, you guys know we already have ElectRS, and we have a way to easily salvage your drive data if anything happens. And, we've built that over the last few months, and a lot of refactoring to make this bash just smooth. And then, of course, later on, we have some premium features planned, like hardware wallet interface. So, you won't need a Electrum server or anything like that. You can use your Trezor directly with this graphic user interface. We'll have, we have more things coming like Lux and Raid that we're working on. Zelko, you want to chime in on anything else we're working on?
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned, let me exit this. Yeah, so we mentioned the plug and play options. That's we're going to offer some different things just to make everything easier. For one, I want people to have an easier experience of like, we get a lot of questions like, oh, what hardware should we use? What device, what SSD, what should we use? So, it's one thing that, I was struggling with. We talked about being permissionless, and I've been discussing it with Samurai while trying to pick his brain. And despite him saying that it's a logistic nightmare, I think there's a big value in having a single place for users to be like, look, I just want to buy all this at one spot, and I want to be able to get it in my hands and go. So, that's kind of where we're going to head. The first one that we're going to launch is going to be, nothing super flashy, but it's going to be a beefy hardware set. We're going to offer the Rock Pro 64, which has 6 CPUs, which is the bottleneck for a Raspberry Pi 4. So beefier hardware, it runs really, really smooth. And then we're going to use the NOS case. And that's like, it's a little bigger than what we're going to eventually come down to. But what it is it keeps everything nice and cold. Like I think I sit at like 29 degrees Celsius or something crazy. And then, yeah, that's what we want. It comes with more power too. So you don't come with any SSD power issues or anything like that. And those are normally our biggest hangups is, people having power issues or people, people having the small quirks issues that comes with the wrong power supply. So we wanted to mitigate that. And then, the Rock Pro 64 uses a PCIe board. I know I'm getting like kind of down the weeds, but it runs faster. The SSD performs faster. Yeah.
It sounds like you'll be future-proofed on this for hardware for a little bit on this new platform.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that was one of the things. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that because originally I wanted to go with the RPi 4 and just like, hey, like let's get something out there for people. But then, I realized like, hey, like let's offer something a little bit better that's gonna last a bit. And yeah, I wanted that SSD to go burr. So just go ahead and give them the full upgrade. And then, yeah, it has a capability of throwing in a second SSD in there so you can run a full RAID, that redundant backup. So it's running all the time. So that's really the features that we want to have available and the hardware that we want available.
And the design for the box on the website is not final. So,
yeah,
it is coming soon, but that's not the final case.
Yeah, the final case it's going to be done next weekend, hopefully. I got some big plans. It's going to be cool though.
Nice.
You guys are going to like it. I'll throw it out to the network first.
Very cool. A question just came into the chat. What's the price point on the GUI, on the graphical user interface?
Yeah, so the premium GUI, that's not out yet. So that price point's going to be about $100 is what we're looking at. We haven't finalized anything because we don't have the product yet. So the big thing is that we're going to offer you something that you're not going to get anywhere else. So yeah, we want to make sure that it's a price point that, because it takes a lot of work. I don't think anyone's going to really understand how much work that our team's going to have to go to create, especially for the hardware interface, the hardware wallet interface, like to be able to take Samourai wallet tools and then build them into an interface that for a hardware wallet is not easy. And it's something that you're not going to have, but it's a functionality that anybody that uses hardware wallets along with Samourai wallet is going to want. You're going to want to be able to, have, say you did a stone wall from your Samourai wallet and you sent it to your hardware wallet, but you still want to be able to use a stone wall on the way out, or you don't want to ruin your privacy on the way out from your hardware wallet. Like we are going to have that for you. So that's something that alone is going to be, it's going to be a game changer. I don't think people realize it yet, but when it's there, we're definitely going to be excited to have people using it. And yeah, but we'll always have a community version that's free that people can utilize and control their dojo and be able to access it using Tor. So
sweet. And yeah, I mean, definitely seems like one of those projects where there's just a lot of heavy lifting under the hood that is non-obvious to, when you look at it from the surface and the outside in. Not just to like build it once, but to maintain it, right? Like this software is like moving, like there are updates and you've got to maintain compatibility and test and all that. So
yeah, and we go through that from time to time where Arc decides to break something because we do use an Arc based system. So that's always fun. but it offers the best compatibility, we feel like. And one other note for like future things to look for is that we are planning on offering what I like to call a sovereignty starter kit. And that's going to be like, you're going to get your full node with Ronin, like the premium box, and then you're going to get a Pixel 3A with Copperhead installed, and you're going to get steel plated keys for your hardware wallet or for your wallet, and then a bunch of other little goodies that I'm going to throw in there. But I wanted to, I keep saying we wanted to come up with something for users, especially as like I said, I think everyone keeps talking about a bull run. If we do go through a bull run, we're going to get a whole lot of new users. And I want to have something that people can say, hey, go check out this starter kit. Like, it's like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be cheap, but it's for everything that you get, it's going to be worth it. And you're going to be able to start doing all the Bitcoin stuff the right way from the beginning. So that's what I'm working
that
on.
Sounds badass.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Like, that sounds like it would kind of 0 to 100 some users to where, like, you know, what you just described is a lot of my stack, and it's taken me a long time of like learning and trying to figure stuff out to arrive there. So
that's the journey we all take, I feel like. So we're just trying to shorten it for everybody. And you know, big shouts out to Copperhead and Crazy K on the team for running the plasma cutter to do the steel backups, and just great people all around that are helping us really bring this together and provide you know, like Zelko was calling it, like the full self-sovereignty kit. And I like how you said it, like from 0 to 100. You know, it covers mobile, it covers the full node. You know, it's your Samurai wallet's good to go. So yeah, that's kind of the end goal.
The noble one. All right. Well, we're probably close.
Yeah, I think our time we hit like really well.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, basically just like, thanks for you guys for coming and sharing all this. Like, I know you're working hard to build this stuff, and everybody's got a ton on their plates. And so to like obviously come and share the knowledge and like, you know, support the group. And Zelko, not only in this presentation, but like you've been kind of the heart and soul of the entire.
Yeah. I'll go, and then I'll look where why don't you say if you have something to say, and then I'll wrap up.
Oh yeah. Well, we just really appreciate the opportunity to be here, and you know, we were happy to share everything live on this stream, and you know, we love to, you know, it's creating hype, but at the same time, it's spreading the software that we love, that we work so hard on, and we just really appreciate being here and sharing, you know, what we do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So first off, like, I'm really excited that I reached out to you to begin with, like many months ago. It's been a really cool journey, and being able to like do this whole series together has been awesome, because one, I've always appreciated all these other projects, and that's why it was cool for me to sit in and, you know, hear them talk and pick their brains, and you know, to start to be in that circle, and we're gonna make a name for ourselves. I have zero doubt that we're gonna end up being that full node that everyone knows. It's like, oh, you're running Samurai, you're running Ronin, right? Yeah, okay. That's the goal. You know, we're here for Samurai users. We're here for the community, because that's who we are. We're always there to help each other out if anyone ever needs help with anything. Just as long as it's not early morning for me, because that's when I'm cranky. But but you know, it's honestly been a privilege to like do this whole node series, and I think no matter what node that someone uses, like, it's a net benefit. The more people running their own full nodes, the more people that are using Bitcoin the right way, as far as being sovereign and not relying on third parties, the better. Like I said, that was my mission from as soon as I started making these guides, was I want to get as many people on board as possible. And now I know how to do it. So yeah, go out there, run your own full node. Privacy times are going to be a crackdown moving forward. So, don't just take this as like tongue in cheek that, my God, my thing is splitting. Don't take it tongue in cheek that like, we should just run a full node just because people say to. Like, just remember that, the COVID outbreak should have been an eye opener for any Bitcoiner that realized that, and it's still coming. Like, there's tracking apps, there's everything out there that the government wants to go and try. Like, no matter what country you're in, they want a piece of it. They want to be able to find out where you are, what you're doing, who you're transacting with, who you interacted with. All those things are happening, and it's very, very real. So for Bitcoin, which is designed to be permissionless, censorship resistant means of transacting, like kind of what Samurai Wallet was saying, like, this is real. So, take those steps to regain your privacy, start doing the right things, utilize BISC, shout out to BISC, and utilize those no KYC platforms if you have them, if you have access to your local Bitcoin dealer, whatever it is, get out there and do it and start acting privately. That's really all I got to say.
Well said, man.
Yeah.
And
see everyone going
Samurai, also, thank you for joining. You've supported the OC Bitcoin Network in many ways, presenting, and in a lot of ways just behind the scenes. Any final parting words from your side?
Well, no, just thank you guys for having me on, and it was a pleasure to see what the Ronin guys have, what's been culminated after all the work that they've been doing. Like I said, Zelko and I, we have chats every once in a while. He gives me an idea of what he wants to do, what he's working on. But I don't see the final product until you guys do as well. So it's really cool to see. And I'll just back up and second what Zelko just said. Let's not forget what this is about. We all want the number to go up. Anyone who owns any Bitcoin wants the number to go up. Obviously, for us specifically, Samurai Wallet specifically is a Bitcoin-only business. We don't have a fiat bank account. We are all in. Number goes up impacts us tremendously because our expenses in fiat terms go down. However, that's not what this is about. It's a side effect, and I think people need to remember that as things continue to ramp up in the world, and things will continue to ramp up and get stranger. This is just the beginning. You're going to regret your decisions to willingly part with so much personally identifying information to so many different counterparties who are sharing it. They are sharing it. Don't mistake yourself. Doesn't matter how big they are or how small they are. They retain records because they have to by law. And they will share those records, whether lawfully or unlawfully. So you just be aware of it and do everything you can to think. You don't have to jump all in all at once, but think about it. Say, what is the impact of me providing this selfie with my ID on it to some random company in the Cayman Islands so I can trade on some shitcoin casino? Right? Like, what is the privacy implications of that? Or not even a shitcoin casino, so I can auto DCA, all the time. It doesn't have to. And again, I'm not shitting on anything here like that, because DCA is a perfectly valid strategy for investment. But look at it a little bit further than investment. Look at the utility of it, because that's what it comes down to. And am I diluting the utility of this thing by sacrificing so much personal information and supporting these companies that are normalizing the collection of all this information? And I think that's what I'll leave it at. And actually, no, one more thing. I don't want to hear people say that, they have to do it because that's, if they don't do it, then they'll get shut down, this or that. Look, don't ask for permission. Just do it. And then if they come, either fight it or don't. But asking for permission is seeking denial. Don't ask for permission, do it. And that's it.
That is powerful and well said. And I think you guys have, like all of you, you know, at Samurai Wallet, the entire organization, Ronin Dojo, the project, have been doing a really good job of kind of raising awareness of those trade-offs that, like you said, a lot of people in society just kind of are so used to, and it's reflexive now to like click OK on the terms and conditions, upload.
Well, that's absolutely right, Stephen. And
so, yep.
And that's why I've always said that KYC and AML is a creeping disease. It's slow, right? 20 years ago, there was none of this. 20 years ago, you want to open a bank account, just walk into the bank. Say, hey, I want to open an account. And they go, okay. There wasn't proving who you are and doing all this shit and giving, 3 years of address information and let me see your ID and all this crap. That didn't exist. But now we're so used to it that we do it, or most people do it. They don't even think about it. They're conditioned, and it's not going to get better. Don't deceive yourself. This isn't going to somehow resolve itself, and we're going to roll back some of this AML. That's not going to happen. It's only going to get worse. So keep that in mind.
I think they boiled a frog. You're right. Like they changed.
Absolutely right.
Creeping
absolutely
KYC
right.
is the perfect way to kind of characterize it. I think with that strategy.
Yep, and that's it. I won't philosophize anymore.
It is quality philosophization. Well,
oh God.
Watching a couple more quick reminders. Just shout out to Bitcoin Magazine for helping make this possible. The discount code OC Bitcoin to buy your ticket to Bitcoin.
Really hope
hours for 20% off. You can see the code on the ticker on the bottom here. If you like what we're putting out, then hit subscribe. We appreciate that. And now you go down. So this is and thanks everybody. We will talk to you, and our next event will be in about a month. We'll talk to you then. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bitcoin Magazine, all the sponsors, everybody involved.